I feel like we're just like in a wreck trying to set up right now. Like, there's too much stimulus happening everywhere.
I'm very tired. I don't know why today.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like a long day.
Oh, I mean, you kind of did have a long day.
I
I've had
guess
a long
so.
day. I'm recording.
Okay, cool.
This, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, low energy. All right.
Yeah, low
All right,
energy.
You ready? Yeah,
Okay,
all right.
let's
Bring
do
us
it.
in. Bring us into it. Bring us into it. Come on.
Hey everybody.
Hey. Oh, well, I mean, we got to start the. Really? We got to do it.
This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. Hey everybody.
What's up? Oh, that was.
This is gonna be a fun one.
Welcome to our episode 4 in our world. Well, I do want to quickly just apologize if there is like weird noises in the background. The place that we record at is doing some cleaning and like organizing for stuff to open up their business.
Yeah, so you might
Reopen
hear
their business.
some clicks and clacks and
Click like it's not the ghost that Tommy thinks that I keep saying. It's not that.
it might be.
It could be.
It could be.
You never know. I mean, that's what we learned in the
Fucking killing it today.
All right.
Okay. I just spilled a bunch of water on myself.
Yeah, it was great to watch. So yeah,
I just pulled.
You-
I kept drinking, but pulled it away from myself. Okay.
Tommy is tired.
Okay. All right. Come on. Watch
All
that.
right.
Red Bull's gonna kick in any second.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, today we are doing a review of Johnny Mnemonic.
Johnny Mnemonic, 1995. Mnemonic. What is the definition of mnemonic?
Oh, I have it.
A device such as a pattern of letters, ideas, or associations that assists in remembering something.
Johnny remembering things.
Uh,
Yeah. So yeah, it was 1995. That's actually the same year as Jumanji came out.
yeah, I was like, actually think like when doing this one, I was like, we've done a lot of 95.
We've done
Talk.
we've actually we've done a lot of like 95 through 99.
Yeah,
Like-
the mid, late.
I think that says a lot about us and like where we find the true nostalgia.
yeah.
You know, is kind of like the late 90s. It's like that's when I was like an older adolescent, like a young preteen and
Yeah.
whatnot, and you were in your middle
Yeah, I was,
adolescence. Yeah.
And then it's like my mom was a huge movie buff,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
The movie itself on IMDb has a 5.7 rating, which is the lowest that we've done so far.
10-word synopsis: a human USB drive avoids assassination from Yakuza.
Yeah, that's a great synopsis.
I have a lot of fun doing the synopsis.
I mean, what's funny is actually the quick little synopsis IMDb is not far from what you just said as well.
Oh, is it?
A data courier, literally carrying a data package inside his head, must deliver it before he dies from the burden or is killed by the Yakuza.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Damn. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, right on
Cool.
the... You're getting good at it, Tommy. Did you look up the where it was placed in the year, like calendar year, like box office wise?
85.
Oh,
No.
I got 86 and 84.
86 and 84.
Like yeah,
Maybe.
in the
Oh yeah, 84. Sorry, I misread
it's like
that.
in the in-year gross, it was 84, number 84, and in calendar year, it was 86.
Mhm.
Which I mean, yeah. So it was number 85. You know? I found it kind of interesting how it was like, it was the how close the numbers were for in calendar and in year gross.
Yeah, that it was pretty much neck and neck with itself,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
And also,
Virtuosity came out this year too.
I have a list of similar movies that came out this year.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's not like 100% similar, like cyberpunk, type stuff like this.
But kind of in the same vein.
Yeah, science
loosely.
fiction idea, like futuristic stuff and whatnot. So, Waterworld came out this year.
Back to Waterworld.
Mortal Kombat. I mean, that's more fighting, but like I don't know. There's like an aesthetic to it that I feel kind of fits.
Yeah. Okay.
Virtuosity, like you said, and then also Judge Dredd. Those were like Judge Dredd came out in 95.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I just see here 12 Monkeys.
Oh yeah.
Talk about future
And what's
sci-fi kind of
but
thing.
like also what's weird is like Johnny Mnemonic out of like the release, like out of the like grossing releases, is the lowest out of all of those films that I listed. Like it did not do good in the box office.
No, because
and it did not do good by like critics as well.
Well, because its budget, I believe, was this budget was $40 million, and it ended up grossing 52.4.
Yeah.
So it did not.
Wait, sorry, what was his budget again?
40
million.
40 million, and then it ended up grossing 52.4.
52.4 million. Oh yeah, I mean, well, it's still made the money back.
Yeah, but I mean,
which is, I mean, that's not a success, but I mean, it's not a.
They got lucky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a big part of this movie that, I mean, Keanu Reeves has a big selling. His name's really big. Is like growing and getting big at this point, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like around this time, like the technology that they use for the special effects in this movie, and like the weird dystopic like worlds that they created. I mean, it's very late 80s, early 90s feel to it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, like I went to Roger Ebert to look at it, and I was Johnny. His review. Johnny Mnemonic is one of the great goofy gestures of recent cinema, a movie that doesn't deserve 1 nanosecond of serious analysis, but has a kind of idiotic grandeur that makes you almost forget it. Before we recorded, that's what I was laughing about because we were about to do a podcast about it. And I was like, okay, let's do this.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's not. I got a pretty rough review myself as well.
Oh, yeah.
Did you read any others?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Why don't you give us another one?
Let's see, what's it going? Courier has 24 hours to download memory chip before his head explodes. Futuristic claptrap. Just a short. That's Karen James, the New York Times.
Yeah, all right.
And like even my note here, none of them are very nice.
No, I mean mine's not very nice as well.
What is yours?
Let's before I get into mine, let's talk about like director, screenwriter, and stuff whatnot.
Yeah,
because I think that's actually really the most interesting part of this movie. I don't know how much did you research the history of it and like why it was released and like who made it and stuff. Like director Robert Longo and writer William Gibson.
I mean, I looked at like what they did and I didn't really fall down the rabbit hole. I know that it's based on a short story by William Gibson by the same name. Yeah, he wrote it. It was a short story he wrote in 1981. Okay.
So yeah, no, Robert Longo and William Gibson really have no IMDb credits. They're not filmmakers.
No, I mean the most is with Robert. He's done a lot of music videos.
Yes,
but even then, it's like he's done like 7 or 8.
Yeah, but also his music videos are like kind of in the same weird like vein of like the aesthetic of those music videos are like the aesthetic of Johnny Mnemonic. But so Robert Longo, he's an American artist, like a modernist artist. Like he has like so when I looked at these two people and I saw that they like you can look up his stuff, robertlongo.com actually.
Oh, you can. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
he's like he's a popular like modernist artist. Like we've probably seen his stuff in the Sam or like in other places.
Oh, and just didn't know it basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I mean, possibly. Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, you're just saying as an example.
Yeah. So, like, since both of their, like, credits were so minimal and there was nothing, like, substantial, I was like, it's so strange that this would happen. So then I wanted to do research into them and see who they were as people. Like, how did these two guys make this film? And it was supposed to be a collaboration for just, like, an art film, pretty much, based around the idea of the short story of his short story, Gibson's short story, Johnny Mnemonic. Okay. And what they were asking for from studios is like, we just want like a $1.5 million budget, and we want to make this like maybe like 30-minute art film that would be a lot more like how the internet works in that film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then what is it? I think it's right here on the IMDb. Yeah, here we go. Longo and Gibson. This is from Wikipedia. Longo and Gibson originally envisioned making an art film on a small budget, but failed to get financing. Longo commented that the project started out as a $1.5 million movie, and it became a $30 million movie because we couldn't get $1.5 million. they're like, we're not going to give you $1.5 million just to make a like 30-minute art film. Here's a 30 million, make an actual film.
So bigger the investment for the possibility of a bigger return kind of thing. Okay.
The unbounded spread of the internet in the early 1990s and the consequent rapid growth of high technology culture had made cyberpunk increasingly relevant, and this was a primary motivation for Sony Pictures' decisions to fund the project in the tens of millions. Prior to its release, the film had been hailed by critic Amy Harmon as an epochal moment when cyberpunk counterculture would enter the mainstream. So this movie does have a good history it has a relevance in our history, in film history, because like the way that and also William Gibson himself, he coined the term cyberspace in short stories that he wrote. Like,
oh, cool.
And I feel like he's not the founder, but like just reading his stuff, he's definitely like one of the original like founders and like guys that created the steampunk genre.
Yeah.
So like, you know, this guy who's like Longo, this writer who is super like into this like science fiction dystopic idea of counterculture and how the internet's taking over the world, like technology's taking over the world. And then you have this artist, Robert Longo, who has like this very specific idea of like high fashion culture, like art, and like how, you know, just like let me read Robert Longo's. So like he has a quote in his bio on his website is, "Art is an attempt to try and understand our own contemporary situation through making images that are completely personal while also addressing our social context." So like he's talking about how art is super relevant to today and the reflection of that on ourselves. So like they wanted to make this like super like idea, like this art film of how in the 90s or I mean, yeah, like how the technology is creating this dystopic world for us because corporations that are taking control over this technology are taking control over our lives.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I was, I have a hard time following. I had to read. I just read it really quick. Well, it's kind of funny too that when you were saying too about this in 1985, it has a place as a commentary about the internet and technology and all that, because even then it's really funny to watch it today. It takes place in 2021.
Yeah, yes, it does.
There's a big pandemic happening.
I know.
Like I was just sitting there, and also, okay, but just even the beginning, it had the scroller that explains what the universe.
I have that actually to read really quick.
But I just wanted to point out, I haven't seen one of those fucking things in a very long time.
Oh, it's like a scroller thing like that?
Oh, I was like, man, that made it
I mean,
feel
I guess
old.
like the last time we really saw it was when we saw Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah, but even though I don't mean like that. That one I always kind of,
because it's Star Wars.
It's like it's its thing.
Yeah,
you know.
There's one at the beginning of Willow.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
it's an old.
Dated.
I see what you mean.
It's like a dated thing.
Yeah.
So when it came up, I'm like, God, this movie's so old.
Should I read that later? What that opening scroll? Yeah, I'll read that later when we actually start talking about the movie.
Yeah.
I do want to say there was a really cool thing of like the special effects in this movie. It reminded me of this weird special effects like kind of like art film that was made for IMAX theaters back in like 1992, 1993 that my dad took me to and my family went and saw. Because my dad was super into like how technology was going and whatnot. He was really interested in like the special effects of computer animation and whatnot. And it's called Beyond the Mind's Eye. And I have it right here. It was directed and put together by Odyssey Productions. And it's literally just a collection of like of sequences and music videos in a way of like computer animation. The like remember the Lawnmower Man, the like virtual reality scenes in Lawnmower Man?
Yeah.
All of those scenes they put into Beyond the Mind's Eye.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost like it's also kind of like a compilation of like what is capable for computer graphics for that time, you know. And it's all, I mean, it's really big of like where like Jumanji was like moving towards doing stuff like this, which also it's kind of interesting to watch the special effects in Johnny Mnemonic, knowing that Jumanji came out that year and just how much better Jumanji was.
Yeah, I was.
But it's also aesthetic and style is a very big thing. You know, it's like Johnny Mnemonic has to live in a specific world.
Yeah.
And Jumanji needed to live in a very kind of more realistic world.
This is kind of off topic, but I was trying to figure it out, and I wasn't really sure how to look it up. Do you remember a show, a kids cartoon show?
Reboot?
That was like this. Like
Reboot?
Is that what it was called?
Reboot, yeah.
Watching the internet scenes, I kept getting these little flashes of nostalgia, being like,
with like the viruses. And
yeah, I was
playing
like,
the
this
games.
reminds me of something.
Bob is from the internet and has to save the computer and whatnot. There's
Reboot?
Yeah, Reboot.
I was like, I didn't even.
No, dude, it was on TGIF. It was on ABC for a while.
Holy shit! Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And then it was on Adult Swim. They like the final season never aired on ABC. I want to say.
Uh-huh.
And then so Adult Swim, when they picked it up, just kind of air it because they would like air old like anime
Yeah.
and stuff like that. They got the final third season where it's like the young kid, I think Scooter or whatever his name is. He goes into the internet to chase after Bob, and he grows up in the internet, and he becomes like this like buff badass. Yeah, no, like
okay,
yeah, 100%.
I like you immediately knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, 'cause I was thinking about it the entire time.
Oh, you were? Okay,
yeah.
cool.
No, like exactly, like the computer graphics and computer animation was very specific to that time.
Yeah.
And like Beyond the Mind's Eye has a lot of that, and it also I watched Beyond the Mind's Eye as I was trying to go to sleep last night, and it honestly. We should watch it high on mushrooms. It would be a trip, actually. It's super 90s and kind of like weirdly outdated in like its special effects, but oh my god, just like the visuals that you're seeing still, it's almost like, yeah, it's like an acid trip.
Okay. I'll watch you watch it on mushrooms. Dude, I'm terrified of hallucinogenics right now.
That's fair. That's totally fair. That's like, 100% fair.
Real quick though, I'm gonna ask before do you like this movie?
I remember liking it when I was a kid, and watching it this time, I was kind of like, wow, this is really bad.
Okay. And I really don't want to be overly negative. It was really hard for me to sit through this.
There were definitely moments where I kept just kind of like, I was like, I don't want to like, what more can I make a note of right now?
Yeah, that's how I got to the point. I like towards the end, I paused it like 3 times, being like, okay, how much longer?
Yeah,
how much longer?
The movie is definitely outdated itself. The movie, it's not very well written. I mean, obviously William Gibson is a great novelist, or like can write good short stories. I mean, he has a great following. I read some of his passages, like just to kind of give an idea.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he is really good at what he does. It's just I think this was like I said, it was supposed to be a 30-minute art film project between 2 guys, and so the main production companies are just like, no, make an actual film.
Well, I was reading too that he said, and again, I obviously don't know. I don't want to speak for the individual, but it is, I guess, rumored. I guess the best way to put it is that the screenplay he wrote wasn't totally used.
That wouldn't surprise me as well.
So it's like the end product was very different than he presented.
Yeah, I mean, that's just very much a Hollywood thing, like a movie making thing in general.
Because he was disappointed in how it came out.
Yeah,
he was like, ooh, but he's kind of like, maybe like to save face, he's also just kind of like, that's not me.
Yeah,
that's not entirely
that's
me.
not my writing.
Yeah. So,
yeah. So, you want to talk really quick just about some of the actors who were starring in it?
That was fun. There are some random goddamn people in this movie.
Obviously, I was going into him. Keanu Reeves is, the face of the movie.
Is Johnny.
Yeah, he's Johnny. No last name, actually. The movie's just Johnny Mnemonic because he's a mnemonic. He's not even a mnemonic device.
He goes by Johnny Smith.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Mr. Smith.
Yeah,
Did
weird.
you order the pepperoni? Yeah.
That's so weird. I didn't put that together.
Oh, there's speculation that there's a good amount of The Matrix based off of this movie too, or based off of the story.
You could see that, yeah.
Keanu Reeves, and then Dina Meyer.
Okay. Something about Dina Meyer. Does she not look a lot like the redhead from Devil's Advocate.
Charlize Theron?
No. The
wife?
No.
The sister.
The sister. Yeah, I was like, she's the half sister. I could have sworn, I was like, oh, that's cool. They're in a movie together. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, these are totally different people.
Yeah, no, totally. I can see that. Yeah.
But if you guys remember Dina Meyer from Starship Troopers, was one of the first things.
Dragonheart?
Oh, yeah, she's Kira.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
I can't remember. But like,
God, that's a good movie.
Yeah, no, I was like, I'm surprised you didn't bring that up. I was like, dude, Dragonheart, man. That's like one of your like I know that's
so weird. I didn't even think I thought of Starship Troopers.
Of course, yeah.
And then I thought of Saw.
I completely forgot she was in Saw.
I don't know why I didn't think of Dragonheart.
She's also in a 3-episode arc in Friends with Joey.
Is she the leg? No.
No.
Who is she in?
No, she's the one when Joey's doing the really weird play, and she's dating the director, and he.
Oh, and they have like a little.
Yeah, they're but like she's like an actual like soap actress, like she's an actual like trained actress, and he's the soap star, so she doesn't think he's a good actor, and he's like, well, I think you're pretentious, and then they actually end up falling in love.
Yeah. Okay, that's one of the times that Joey actually gets like hurt.
Mm-hmm. When you actually, it's like, oh, Joey's a human.
Yeah, like he's
not just a sex crazy,
monster.
Yeah.
I don't know how I totally
missed Dragonheart.
Yeah, I love that movie. Huh, weird.
And then Henry Rollins is in it, which I don't. He started doing a lot of like cameos in movies in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. He's not very good.
No, he's not. Well, dude, Ice-T, he wasn't very good in it as well. Ice-T probably has some of the most...
Ice-T's name is J-Bo.
I know.
That made me laugh so hard.
It's literally just like word, letter, reverse, like letter, word. Like,
yeah.
God. And then I think the weirdest casting in this entire movie is Dolph Lundgren. He's Isaiah.
Fucking Rocky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was also the Punisher.
I will break you.
He was the first Punisher.
In what?
In the Punisher.
The TV series?
No, in the old like 80s movie.
There's an 80s movie?
Yeah.
I've only seen like the 2000s.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, there was a Punisher movie from the 80s. Then I think it's a TV made movie. But yeah, he was the first guy to play the Punisher on camera, I want to say.
1989.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, I never knew that.
Yep.
I'd watch that.
I used to have it on VHS.
Do you remember being good? Oh,
it's not that good.
I do remember. Once I see the cover art.
Yeah.
I do remember it. That does not look like him.
No, because he has his hair dyed black. And
yeah, it's amazing how much that makes him look different.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have pictures this big, but
yeah.
But yeah, the I Will Break You, He-Man.
That's right, He-Man, and Masters of the Universe, which has nothing to do with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Doesn't it?
That movie?
Yeah.
No, dude.
I've never seen it.
Oh God, no, that movie.
I never cared about Masters of the Universe.
That movie is. If we want to like do a podcast about how making a movie out of like a franchise of any sort has ruined something, that's number one.
Oh yeah,
one of the number ones. Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, and then I think that was all. Yeah, those were.
Well, then
there was a handful of like Japanese actors that I looked up, and I could kind of recognize them from like stuff, but like I don't know, just like nothing really popped out actually.
The only one I really remember seeing is Takashi Kitano.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've seen The Blind Swordsman.
Mm-hmm.
That feels familiar, but I think I watched it like as a kid with like my dad or something.
And then like one of them was in Battle Royale, and I just think I remember. I haven't seen the Battle Royale movies, but like I've seen clips from it, so I was like, oh, I think that's where I'm like, because he's like in both of them.
Yeah. And then Udo Kier, is that how you say his name? Oh. He's Johnny's boss.
Oh, that guy,
agent.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I recognized him. Yeah, he's in a lot of 90s stuff as well.
He's in Ace Ventura.
That's right.
He's the fish collector.
Yep.
I remember him as that. No, not Pocahontas. Pinocchio.
Oh,
Pinocchio, the live action one with
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I do not remember that movie at all.
I want to watch that again. I remember it being really good because he's also the bad guy in it. He's the one that turns into the whale.
Oh, interesting. What? He turns into? Oh, maybe I never saw this as a kid. Actually,
you should. It's interesting. But he's like the bad guy in it. But he has just a great voice, and he has those big blue.
Until
he
pronounces the word surgeon.
Yeah, what was up with that? It's like he was in the middle of having a stroke.
The first time he said it, I was like, the what?
Yeah, I wouldn't have caught if I didn't have subtitles on.
No, I was like, what is he? Is he?
It sounds like he's speaking a different language. Like he's not speaking English.
Like,
he's using a word from a different language in an English sentence.
It's almost like the director was like, "Can you say surgeon different?" And you're like, "Sure." Yeah. How's surgeon?
Perfect. Great. Let's
go with that. Oh, okay. That's what this movie is. Okay, sounds good.
When it goes to Rollins, he did stand up, right? Henry Rollins.
He may have done a little bit of stand up, but he's known for being the lead singer. He's in a band. I know that. And I feel kind of dumb for not knowing it right off the top of my head right now.
Black Flag.
That's it. Yes.
He's been in Black Flag, Rollins Band, State of Alert.
Yes. God, Black Flag. Okay, yeah. He's a very interesting dude, actually. He's a very, very weird, interesting dude.
Did you ever see his movie, He Never Died?
Mm-mm.
You should check that one. I think you'd really dig that. He plays like a immortal cannibal, but he doesn't know why he's an immortal cannibal.
That's weird.
It's really weird, but you're just kind of like, it's interesting. But like, yeah, he just goes around and eats people, but he's not a vampire, but he's not, I don't know.
Jesus Christ. That sounds like a Henry Rollins movie, honestly. Okay,
back on this. Sorry,
you ready for my review from
your mean one?
Yeah, I mean, right. I actually, it's just kind of like one solid like. This could be like a solid like paragraph, like put into like a post or something. You know?
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right, so trapped inside a dystopic story where corporations control the masses, Johnny wants to find a piece of himself that he gave up to be this courier, I guess. He gets that fleeting memory back, but this movie is overfilled with so much substance without information that it becomes a misguided, hard-to-follow piece of lost internet technology. Essentially, this movie is about, owning a cure for a worldwide disease, and Johnny, as the courier, is just caught in the middle of it. With that, there's so much of a there's just a huge fear of technology overtaking the world, which is kind of a very prominent thing in the 90s and 80s. Mm-hmm. This movie happens in fragments. It's like continuing, pushing forward, but like with a substance, like it lacks substance or might have too much substance and direction or even care for an afterthought for it to really like have anything like coherent to really follow. And like also, I'm confused with like the use of religion in it because like
I mean the preacher
with the preacher with Isaiah is it an attempt of like how corporations use religion for their own personal gain, and if so, why the name Isaiah? I mean, just because the name is biblical. Isaiah has nothing to do with like corruption or anything like that. Overall, overall, like, and like at the end of it, like so much of the acting is so underwhelming in the sense of danger or over the top in moments of nothing that it's really hard to continue following through in this movie.
It's hard to care.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is I was after watching it and asking you like, oh, did you like it? I don't ever really want to talk down someone's work.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mean, but it's just like
you got to give an honest review.
Yeah, I didn't like it. And just what you're saying too, the acting there really to me wasn't anything like the like the Phantom. Mm-hmm. That's not a great movie, objectively.
The Phantom of the Opera?
No, Purple.
Oh, the Phantom.
The Phantom.
Yeah,
that movie's not great, but it knows what it is.
Yeah,
the fighting's cool. There are aspects to it that you're like, the bad guy's good. There's certain moments where you're just like, okay, it's fine. I'll sit through it. I love that movie. But this, I couldn't find it. Like, the fighting choreography was terrible.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, with the fighting choreography, no, like, the camera angle, like, the filming of the fighting was really bad.
Yeah. Because even you could almost see that they weren't making contact.
Yeah.
It was just...
it was clunky.
Yeah, thank you. It was clunky. But what's interesting, too, is in the very beginning, I was like, oh, this might be a cool little cult classic that I'll understand why it has a following, but I never got that feeling. Like 15 minutes in, I was like, that feeling's gone and I don't see it coming back.
A lot of people follow and really like this movie because it's one of the first movies that really like the whole like the steampunk cyberspace cyberpunk idea is really kind of like this movie really brought it to the mainstream. Mm-hmm. Like this movie, and I think Hackers is a really big one as well about that as well. And then it's also kind of early 90s.
Have you ever seen Hackers?
That would be a good one for us to do.
We should put that on the list.
Yeah. But like it's not a good movie when it comes like to the acting, and I'm sorry, Robert Longo, like, I understand that what you were trying to do for like an art film and like stuff like is in there, but like it doesn't, it's not a very good directed movie, you know. And like it's like I keep like almost every choice that Jane makes, Dina Kaye's character, I'm just like it's like I don't understand her motivation.
I was feeling that too. Like at the end of the day, why does she give a shit?
Yeah.
Why is she involved in this really?
Yeah, it's like as soon as when she's instantly introduced, it's like, okay, so she wants to be a bodyguard for this guy, and you find, oh well, she has NA. Oh, I didn't read the opening credits thing. That can help us like drive into like talking points.
Oh yeah,
as well.
okay, let's pause
so yeah,
on
that. The opening scrawl to give like the idea of the world is so second decade of the 21st century, corporations rule. The world is threatened by a new plague, NAS. Nerve attenuation syndrome, fatal epidemic. Its cause and cure are unknown. The corporations are opposed by the low-techs, a resistance movement risen from the streets, hackers, data pirates, guerrilla fighters, and the info wars. The corporations defend themselves. They hire the Yakuza, the most powerful of all crime syndicates. They sheathe their data in a black ice, lethal viruses waiting to burn the brains of intruders. But the low-techs wait in their strongholds, in their old city cores, like rats in the walls of the world. The most valuable information must sometimes be entrusted to mnemonic couriers, elite agents who smuggle data in wet-wired brain implants. Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah, you did a voice. As soon as you started, I was like, okay. You're getting a little show. That was awesome.
I'd commit to it. So yeah, like she has NAS, which like, and that's like, and like when I bring up like the world plague thing from my review, like that's like, I mean, talk about today, COVID.
Yeah.
Like yeah, they're like that's kind of like what the whole storyline is about. Is like they're trying to cure this worldwide pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, and she has it. And it's like, but her like. It's like the lack of care towards her having it is just so minimal in a way. It's just kind of like, you need to lie down.
No. Yeah, she's like seizing out like, I'm good. Like, no, you're not. You're clearly not good. But like,
you've got the black thrill. Or what was it? You got the black shakes. This is NAS.
I actually like your Keanu really a lot. Oh, that was another thing. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. So you're going through and you're meeting, you know, Johnny and all these characters. Two things that kind of crossed my mind. Why, one, is Keanu yelling? He yells a lot. Yeah. Really randomly.
No, dude, in the script itself, he'll like agree. He disagrees. Like, what? Like have this like information taken out of my mind for what money? This is worth a lot of money. And then like the next thing, he's like, no, the right thing, because like everyone's gonna die. It's like, dude, you just like disagreed.
You're hopping.
Yeah, it's like, what side of the fence are you on, dude?
But then I had that thought about him yelling a lot, and then I was like, no, it would actually been great for this role. Your favorite,
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. Like, just imagine this movie, but Nick Cage being Nick Cage in it. That actually might have been great.
Oh man,
just the over the top screaming, like that would have been so good.
I want to be in my suit in the hotel.
Yeah. I was like, I think Nick Cage.
$10,000 hookers.
I did like the robot finger thing.
The robot finger?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was a really cool.
That was actually kind of cool.
That was really cool. Yeah.
And the whole like, you know, because that's a punishment of the Yakuza. They cut off.
Oh yeah.
The tips of your fingers.
Oh really?
For depending on what you do.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why he had that. And that's why his boss or whatever says, "I see how you can turn your shame into your advantage." So basically, he has this robot finger on a robot thumb that looks like just like a long fingernail, but he can pull it and it becomes like a thermal.
It's like a thermal choke wire.
Yeah, like a Hitman choke wire.
Yeah,
but it can like cut through metal, and that was like one of the cooler. I was like, that's kind of. It sounds stupid, but it was actually pretty practical, and it worked out for him pretty well.
Okay, so Johnny wants to get his memories back. Is like the key thing to this.
Because as a courier, they can take out a chunk of your long-term memory and replace it with a hard drive, basically that you can
and like
put shit in.
The biggest problem, like the inciting action for this movie for Keanu Reeves is that when he's he's told by his boss like this will be your one last like delivery essentially. He's the transporter before the transporter. Sorry, I was thinking about that through part of this movie too. He does his one last job. He'll get the money that he needs because it's more expensive to get his like implant, his wet wired brain removed, and get his memories back essentially, or not be in this job anymore.
Yeah.
And he can like it's really interesting. At this time, 80 gigs of memory was unheard of. So like when he doubles it to 120 or 160. And then they like the catch of the movie is like the data that he needs to carry is 320 gigabytes of memory, which is double than what he already doubled his brain for. And if he does that, then he has like 24 to 48 hours to get it out before it kills him.
Yeah, because there's this thing like seepage.
Yeah.
That was another thing. You're like, no, if there's something not big enough, it just doesn't go in there. It goes up to a certain point and then it stops.
Well, I mean, but I think that's kind of like it's going into like the organic nature of the brain being like a thing. So it's like this. Yeah. It's filling it up, but then it's going to overtake his brain. So then his brain will just be the data drive of that. Like the stuff won't get corrupted. His brain will become corrupted, and he just will cease to live.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the biggest part of it. And like what I was saying is like 320 gigabytes of memory. Like right now, that's actually a substantial amount. In the 80s, or not in the 80s, but in the 90s, like in 95, I remember like our hard drive was like 500 megabytes maybe for a computer. Like when we finally got our first like 1 gig hard drive, I remember being like, oh, I can have so much more information on my computer. Yeah. And like, when I was in high school, I was like, oh, now 100 gigs or not, no, like a 50 gig was like really like popular. Now we're getting like terabytes and stuff.
Yeah, all my terabytes are full.
Yeah, no, dude, it's crazy.
But that's like another thing is that even with this whole implant in the brain thing, I didn't get it.
I mean, it's not really explained that well. It's just kind of like you get the information that he can carry information in his brain. It's from a it's what's called wet wired like design, and I think just it's like there's so many things in this movie that just really aren't explained that well.
Well, I just mean like
you just kind of accept. You have to just kind of accept it.
Yeah, but and I get that, especially in a movie. Sometimes you just can. You're like, okay, like why does how does magic work in Harry Potter? It does. Yeah, it just does. And you're like, okay, that's good. But it's even like with this whole premise and the problem, it's like you could even just take a disc, they put it in the machine, then they copy it, they put it in his head, and then they burn the disc. Like, how about you just get a guy with a gun, give him the disc, have him take the disc, because even then there's like the X-ray scene, and it says that he has a module to help him with his dyslexia. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, you can still smuggle the disc.
I think there's.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, no. I totally see what you're saying. I think there's just something that was like it's such like the information like that's why they're elite like couriers is that the information is so sensitive that it's like even just the disc itself it like is not safe enough. So it needs to be put inside of a human with a harder encryption code. Yeah. Because like I mean that's what they spend
encryption code of 3 pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Right? They're images that only he has seen. Yeah. So I mean, which is like it's a weird encryption process on like how like brains could work. It's like it's really weird. And I see what you're saying. Yeah, just like hire Jason Statham to like transport it to Newark.
I'm gonna watch that movie again. That movie was bad, right?
It's a Jason Statham movie,
but I remember like it was fun. But it's not.
It's a Jason Statham movie. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's no like Snatch or like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Yeah. But it's just a fun like over the top and like Crank.
Crank.
Yeah.
Crank. Oh my god, I forgot about Crank. Well, but then also it's just like then that's kind of like so they have these things they don't explain, but there's even things that I was like, if they had taken this and expanded it and made it a little bit more, I think that like I was thinking, so they take out this part of his memory to give him more space, right? Yeah. What if you went farther with that and you took out basically so much of his memory? He's basically that's all he is now as a courier.
I mean, it's kind of what it is.
Yeah, but in the sense of he never even knows what's in his brain. It's just a complete job. Almost like take out so much he doesn't really even, make him almost a robot.
Yeah, it's almost like becoming what are they in Blade Runner?
replicant.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like making him a replicant type thing.
Yeah, I was like,
there's a lot of Blade Runner feel in this movie as well that I felt.
And that's was another thing that I was thinking when watching this. I was like, for just like how not well the end product was.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is a really big risk to do a cyberpunk something when there is not a lot, but there are cyberpunk movies out there.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't consider Blade Runner cyberpunk so much. It's like it's a science fiction noir.
Yeah,
because like even though you have the replicant idea, there's like them being like androids, the replicants being like machines and whatnot.
I guess
but there's like a big thing that makes it cyberpunk or it's like steampunk is the design of the dystopic world with J-Bone and all of the low keys. Like them, like that's more like Blade Runner doesn't really have. Blade Runner still feels very like
noir,
but like it almost in a more world that is attainable for us.
Yeah, and I think you're totally right, and you hit it on the head. But I think you could also make an argument, and someone can make an argument
100%.
for it being a steampunk as well.
Yeah.
But it's just like with the look of that. And even that one was completely panned when it first came out, and then it took some years for people to be. It was just ahead of its time. But it's like you look at cyberpunk later. That's later. You look at Johnny Mnemonic and Blade Runner. I was having a hard time remembering that name. Blade Runner just aesthetically is so cool to look at.
Yeah.
Because even there's a scene in Johnny Mnemonic where there's like helicopters and they're looking at Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And I just think it was a really big risk to have a movie like this and don't do it.
Well, no, I mean, but also like going back, it's like this movie wasn't supposed to be the size of movie it is, So I think there's just like a lot of things that.
That's kind of funny.
What?
This movie wasn't supposed to be the size that it was. Johnny put too much in his head.
Jesus Christ.
Which creates the conflict. Very meta.
I'm glad you made that connection because I don't think I would have made that connection. That's pretty good. So Johnny, like that's like his whole arc is to try to get this shit out of his head now.
Yeah.
And it's when you find out what it is, that it's the cure for NAS and just like that. There's like, let's talk about Dina's character for a little bit. Jane,
yes.
Yeah. Because like who has no motivation other than being there for Johnny.
Yeah, she's just like literally just there. Yeah, because even then it would be like, then that's another thing. It's like it's not really explained, and again, you can ignore it, or they could have just expanded a little more. So she is.
I mean, it's like the biggest
bodyguard.
Thing, yeah, the biggest thing is you get from her is that she wants to be a bodyguard.
But like what I mean by expanding on it's like, okay, fine, that's fine. But say when you become a bodyguard, you get these enhancements, these cybernetic enhancements. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So make it so when you are a bodyguard, you accept a contract, you imprint on that person until the contract's over. So now she is compelled to be with him.
Yeah.
And help him.
As opposed to just like following the Raphael or whoever the boss was, like carrying Johnny out of the bathroom or whatever because Johnny confronted him about the package.
Yeah.
It's
like just a little bit of expanding.
She jumps out of a grate just because she just wants revenge on the dude.
She's kind of there again.
She's like, what can I do to save you? Or like what'll it cost to save you? He's like 10,000.
See, there you go. That moment right there. Mm-hmm. So have her just casually walk into the situation. Mm-hmm. Johnny's about to get murdered. He looks at her and says, "I'll give you $10,000 to protect me." Click. Now she is his bodyguard because she accepted. Now there you go. That's why she's with him.
I mean, that's what they did.
Yeah, but they didn't explain that. It was just kind of like,
well, he's like, "I'll give you $10,000," and then she says, "Okay."
Yeah, but then even then he doesn't even have the money.
Yeah.
There's just no reason for her to. But if you made it like a compulsion thing now where she has to because she accepted it.
Yeah.
I
it's all, and then she like
she's not invested until she finds out he has the cure in his head. There's no reason to.
No, exactly. Oh, and then like then they kiss for whatever reason because
that's
they just
90s though.
No, exactly. It's like because they've been traveling together and because she's pretty and it's Keanu Reeves. You have a
penis, she has a vagina. You need to kiss now. That's how.
Thank you, 1995.
Yeah, like it's like it would have been weird if they didn't kiss because it just would have been like that's weird that they didn't.
The 90s would be like, so like oh my god. I could just see the stupid reviews from the 90s be like about how much of a waste it is to have a pretty girl or something like that, and to not be like just stupid shit like that from
you're
the
saying
90s.
yeah, like toxic masculinity kind of bullshit.
So I mean, she doesn't really care until like, I mean, she's kind of helping him. Like she gets him into that computer shop where he's like on the internet, and the whole time he's on the internet with the gloves and he's like flipping his hands around and like it's so like 90s like idea of like what like hacking looks like, you know, like have you seen that? Yeah. There's that video clip of like what hacking looks like in movies versus what it looks like in real life.
Yeah,
you know, and just it's
Eddie Izzard has a pretty good joke about that.
Oh yeah. It's just so ridiculous and over the top, like what it would look like to enter the internet.
Fallon looked up and was like, "What's going on?" when he was doing that, and I was like, "I don't know, but I like his VR setup." And there's like, I
like how as soon as they get in there, he's just like, "I need like an Avalon 7.6," and just like pretty like I could just make up those fucking names right now. Like those things don't exist.
Well, there's also because there's the scene where they're giving him the information and like implanting it. There's the scene with the VR, and a lot of these scenes, there's a lot of really weird close up to his teeth.
Oh yeah,
like him growling, but it's just
it's the best thing that I thought about. I was like, man, the internet must be painful.
Yeah. I mean,
technology hurts, man.
I mean, the internet is pretty painful. Right.
So going through like that's when like you get Isaiah introduced, the weird the religious Christian
hit
assassin.
Yeah.
So fucking weird. Like that, I think honestly his character is the one that really sticks out like a sore thumb through the entire movie.
Yeah, and again, you could have flushed him out a little bit
no,
better.
Exactly. They could have flushed him out more, or they could have just gotten rid of him and like used the screen time that he was to make a more like solid script for everyone
like we already
else.
we already had the Yakuza as the main antagonist. We don't need this guy?
Mm-hmm.
But even then, you could have, if you wanted another hitman, you could have just made a better Yakuza hitman.
Yeah. You know, like that first one failed.
John Wick, you know.
Yeah, it's like first one who failed. It's like then the like corporate boss just like, okay, well, your time has expired.
Yeah.
And then he gets killed. He's like he's killed by the next one that's going to take his place. You know?
Isaiah's knife was cool though.
The crucifix knife.
Yeah, that was the hunting crucifix knife. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Some mad Christians out there when they saw that. I bet.
Yeah. Well, because even when Isaiah ends up dying, there is that moment where it looks like his body is coming back.
Oh god, that was such a stupid like.
I was actually cool.
Oh really?
I was like, this is gonna be interesting. And then they're just picking him up.
No, that's just trash. Thank you, Ice-T. Thank you, Ice-T, for your underwhelming delivering of every fucking line in this movie.
The second after the movie was over, I immediately put on YouTube the John Mulaney Ice-T SVU bit.
Yes.
You mean like when someone eats too much chocolate cake? Or eats too much chocolate cake and then throws it up? Yeah, Ice, you're getting it.
yeah, you're getting it there, bud. No, I like when when like the Yakuza are attacking their base and whatnot. Ice-T's like, yo, give me the feed. And he looks at the television screen and he's like, it's the Yakuza. We better stop them. It's like, no, there's not like, it's the Yakuza. Let's get this done. Go. It's like, yo, it's the Yakuza. We got to stop them.
Yeah, he's cool as a cucumber. His name is Ice-T.
It's like, it's so strange that he has any semblance of an acting career. It's literally just because of his because he's just a popular face and name.
Yeah, I like him in SVU.
You mean like when you eat too much birthday cake?
I just really like SVU. I liked him and Munch's chemistry. Mm-hmm. Like the two, they're almost like the two old grumpy guys. You know?
I wonder if they even like write a script for Ice-T, or if they're just like, Ice-T, this is what they're gonna just respond. Just respond.
This is the situation. Do your thing.
So
Rollins, right? His name is Spider.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Henry Rollins' death was kind of cool when he gets like essentially almost like crucified.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was like way too on the nose. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
He's gonna kill him, but okay.
But that's also a great example of what you're talking about with like the bad like choreography fighting, or at least the way that was filmed. A lot of movies don't really have like they have good choreography or not the best choreography for fighting. This like one of my friends told me about this, like the difference between American cinema choreographed fighting and being filmed and like Japanese or Chinese fight choreography and the way that it's filmed is that in American cinema it's filmed with a lot more like close-ups and a lot more like cuts and like a lot of action to make it like so when someone does a punch like the camera movement makes it feel like the punch is hitting the person, so like and then it cuts in between those, so like you feel like you're in the middle of the fight in a way.
Okay.
When it goes to like more Eastern like media and film, when they're filming their fight scenes, a lot of it is it's definitely they're not trying to actually like hurt each other, but there's a lot of it where they're kind of actually, you know, pulling punches or hitting each other more, but you're watching the technique of the fighter more. Yeah. So like there's like the choreography is a lot more precise and the camera is a lot more stagnant, it's like filming a dance as opposed to making a mashup of a scene.
Well, you got to think about that too. A lot of the times, and especially if you talk about like action adventure American action adventure movies, they hire people that aren't trained fighters.
Yes,
but a lot of
stuntmen, they know how to move.
They know how to move. But then a lot of times too, it's like look at Jackie Chan or Jet
Li.
Yeah. They are trained fighters, so you can and put them together, and they'll know how to hit each other but not hurt each other. Yeah. As opposed to Harrison Ford, who's not a You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of like, you know, you are doing Never Back Down, or you would hire a dancer, or so you would think. You would hire someone that knows exactly how to do it.
I feel like there's definitely the higher end movies definitely try to do stuff like that, and you know, like for like fighting, the amount of like
they got
work.
Hurt.
Oh yeah, they got hurt, and also the amount of work that like Keanu Reeves and I can't remember the girl's name that played Trinity, but the amount of work that the actors put into like being like able to do a lot of that stuff. Lawrence Fishburne as well, yeah.
Well, yeah, because Lawrence Fishburne also killed it too. There's even you've seen the behind the scenes; they're both wearing casts on their arms, and they're still rehearsing and practicing. But even that's an interesting idea too, because they took so much time, to do that. Yes, and it's one of those things you can definitely see when the time was there and when the time was not there. You know,
and it's just this movie. It's like the filming of the movie is very clunky. I mean, honestly, the coolest scenes in it were the internet scenes, because just to kind of see how they interpreted it
and how over the top it was. Yeah. I guess that was. I thought it would look.
It's super dated.
Yeah,
it's super dated. But that's also. But it's super dated. But it's really cool to just kind of think like, that was like almost top of the line computer generation at that time. You know.
Well, it's also with these kind of movies, it's always kind of just fun to watch, even if it's complete like garbage or whatever. It's just cool to see a movie from the 90s doing 2025.
Oh yeah,
and then seeing what 2025 is going to look like. Right? It's just cool. Like, you know, like even in his hotel, he turns on the TV and uses the remote to dial in a number. It's always just really fun. You know.
What'd you think of the dolphin? I've been waiting for you to bring it up.
I've been waiting for you to bring it up.
And like, I know there's people that are going to listen to this that have watched Johnny Mnemonic. They're like, they're not fucking talking about the dolphin.
This is what I did.
just
dropped everything. All right, you're going to meet Jones. I was like, I'm done. I almost turned it off. I was like, I'm fucking done with this. Not even just a dolphin, a cyber dolphin.
Yeah, I know. It's like if you don't think this movie can get any more weird or ridiculous or out of left field,
you have to give it credit for that.
No, right? And then it's also like a cyber fucking dolphin. What? Okay,
a cyber hacker dolphin.
Hey, all right. So this was during the craze when like we're learning that dolphins are like one of the smartest mammals on the earth. You know, so like people
doesn't mean you have to put it in your fucking movie when it makes no goddamn sense. That was one thing that it's like I don't care how you want to twist it or turn it or whatever. You need to explain that to me. I'm not just going to take that for face value. I need to know what is happening. Jones. Let's say he had a name too. Or
yeah, it was Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, no,
You're about to meet Jones. I remember too when they were talking about it and I saw the tank in the background. I was like, there's no fucking way. I thought, okay, is Jones going to be like a weird, like kind of like a Total Recall mutant kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like living, frozen and jelly?
It was unexpected in a way like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I really did. I thought it was going to be like,
I love Keanu Reeves just like, what?
They just accept it.
The fish? It's a mammal. And then the dolphin, and then Jones like actually like, no, but Jones like is responding like it's like aware of its situation and like communicating with its like helmet.
It seems okay with it too.
Yeah. It's part of the resistance, man.
I guess he doesn't like. Guess it lives. Oh god! But then
free will, dude. Free will. free flipper.
When Keanu goes into the internet into this to get to stop the Yakuza virus.
Oh yeah.
And fucking Jones shows up, and he's like just a sparkly dolphin swimming around the internet. Oh god. I did like they had the quintessential tower of TVs in their base.
Oh yeah, right.
Which I was like,
I like how it's like all those explosions happened. Like the Yakuza's attacking, they lose all their power. Things are going awry at the end. Also, really quick before I get into this next thought, the like leader of the corporation. All of a sudden, you find out through the face that's been talking, the ghost in the machine that's been talking to everyone.
The ghost in the shell.
Yeah, that's the entire time is like he has the cure for NAS, but just because your daughter died of it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice the wealth of the corporation. Did you miss that part?
Maybe because she was basically like
she's flip flopping as well. Like this ghost is like that has no idea where it's fucking.
But she was like an AI created from a person put into the machine, right?
Yeah.
She was like a consciousness copied, basically.
It's the Yeah. It's Johnny's mom, dude.
Oh, that was weird too when you finally do get his flashback.
Yeah.
His mom's looking down at him, but the way she was looking down at him was really weird.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
She was like, I don't know. I was like, that is not a flattering angle you did for this lady.
It's from the kid's point of view, man.
No, but her head. The way she was looking.
No, I know.
I don't know. I was just like,
but yeah, no, it's like how it's like, that's the first, I think you hear that like, oh, so his daughter died of NAS. So now I care.
Yeah, that
it's like he needed to be remembered. Like, oh yeah, no, my daughter died from that.
Yeah, like, oh, did you forget about that? That happened about a week ago. But if you forgot, well, and that's another thing. Just the bad guys in this in general just were really sucky.
Yeah,
even the bald guy.
Oh, Baldy.
Yeah, Baldy. He was fucking useless.
Yeah,
I was like, man, this guy sucks. You need to fire this guy. Who's the target? Why you're not gonna hit him? Why do you need to know?
Yeah. So like the Yakuza start blowing everything up, and it's like, oh man, they like destroyed their base, and then J-Bone's just like, yo, hit the power, and everything's back up and running without any problem.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
I'm just like, okay, so they just have generators now?
Their attack just flipped all of our breakers. Just gotta turn them back on.
And honestly, I would have felt better. I would have think the movie would have had a better ending if Johnny died.
I thought Johnny was going to die.
No, they allude to it as he like slumps out of the machine, and then Jones like,
which is kind of silly because this is the 90s,
and
they don't usually kill the action star.
No, exactly. That's
like
why
ever.
I was like, oh, that would be really cool if like he died, like he actually died. He sacrificed himself for the cause that he like didn't want to do. He was like, no, I can get money off of it. And then he has this whole freak out of like this. I don't know. There's a lot of, I feel like the movie's trying to make a statement about the separation of classes, and it's trying to make a statement about how technology is corrupting our world in a weird way and making us sick.
Well, because that's what starts the NAS.
The NAS, yeah. Well, as Spider puts it, Spider's like, what causes this? This thing.
There's so many. Basically, the microwaves are melting your brain. And kind of like,
yeah, he sounds like a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, he's like wearing an aluminum helmet. But even like what you're saying too about it sounded like it felt like they were trying to make a statement. But again, it doesn't feel like they committed to any of them enough to flush it out.
And that's what I was talking about, is where it feels like it has like either it has its lack of substance or maybe too much substance. You know, it's like it was trying to hit so many things that it just couldn't drive the message home that it was trying to make.
It did the Spider-Man 3 thing.
It put too many. Yeah. But it's also I don't care about Johnny.
No,
I don't. It's like I care about the NAS cure now, but like a little bit. But also like how it's like it's hard to care about it for just how the movie is like being portrayed as well.
Yeah,
you know, it's like yeah, no, it's like also what fucking person. It's like if you yourself had the cure for like cancer or something, but you had to sacrifice yourself, like everybody in the world that has cancer or will ever have cancer is eradicated, but you have to literally sacrifice yourself. Would you give yourself up for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's answer would be yeah, unless you're presented with the actual situation. Then your tune might change a little bit.
I mean, fair, yeah. I don't know. Like it's like, but like it's not even like life or death. Where it's like you could possibly die, but it's like we need to get that out of you that has the cure. But I could die. Well, yeah, you could. We're gonna do everything we can to not do that.
Well, that was the flip floppy thing too. It's like you're going to die anyways with this in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to get it out. This is your best option. It's like, and that's what it's like. Anytime you get,
and they just keep moving forward to figure out how to make the extraction like perfect or whatever.
Yeah, it's like no, it's like any surgery. There's a possibility you will die, but you will die if you don't get not any surgery. But you will die if you don't get the surgery. So it sounds like you're getting the surgery.
Hey, man,
this is, and I really kind of feel bad about this one, like as I was saying, because we haven't had
one that was kind of rough for both of us.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It's watch it. I think if you're into the Matrix and you want to see kind of the parallels, it might be kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, if you I don't know, if you want to kind of see, I mean, if you want to get an idea of like where one of the original like people that wrote like the starting idea of like steampunk, you know, and like that cyberspace type stuff, you know. Like, yeah, give it a watch if that interests you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it to a general audience of people.
Mm-mm. I think it's like,
I honestly think it should have a lower rating than a 5.7 on IMDb.
But I think it has that from the cult following probably.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, I would recommend it on a case by case.
Maybe or a cult night thing, you know. It's like we're doing like weird special, like outdated special effects, or Keanu Reeves night, you know.
Yeah,
you know.
But it's like I'll be like, oh, Indigo, you don't need to watch this.
Yeah,
Indigo, you can skip this one. You don't need to watch this movie. But then maybe someone like Revel will be like, Revel might get a kick out of it and just like to tear it apart.
Yeah,
you know. But I would have been very fine never watching this movie.
Which is kind of funny because, like, I remember when we first kind of discussed this movie way back, like, I have, like, kind of vague memory, and me kind of describing it to you, you're like, that sounds interesting. I'm like, yeah, it's really weird. And, like, I don't know, like, I think I kind of, like, I don't know if I oversold it or I don't know. Because you said, like, we've been interested in doing this on the podcast.
Yeah, this has been one that we've talked about. And I think, well, my thing is, like, young Keanu Reeves, cool, check it out. The concept sounded pretty interesting, and I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
Which I was like, this is cool.
And I hadn't seen it since I was literally a kid, and I mean, there's a lot of it that went over my head when I was a kid. I think what I was most, like, awed about as a child was the computer graphics, because, like, when I was a kid, at that time, when I'm 9, 10 years old, those graphics were amazing. And, like, it's like watching a video game on TV, you know? Like...
As opposed to when you read them in a book?
What do you mean? I see. Screw you. Making fun of me, man. Call my mom.
Watching a video game on TV.
It's a different time in the 90s, man, okay? Okay, let me correct that. Actually, it was like watching like computer, like something that you would only play on your computer.
On your computer, yeah.
And you see it on your television. You're like, oh, I didn't know that these things could transfer over like this.
Oh yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, like that is something you would see on your computer.
It was like,
but you wouldn't see it on a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'd only see it via.
It's like the PlayStation was just now starting to like come out, kind of, and release stuff like this.
Yeah. Any last little notes of anything you wanted to bring up?
Speaking to the dolphins out there, I think my little tag. Oh, I forgot that I made a little tagline for the movie. Enter the internet, or enter the very early '90s. No, God damn it, I can't read my shit sometimes. Like, just enter the internet in this very early '90s ideas of computers.
I really have a hard time with the whole entering the internet thing.
I mean, it's gonna be a thing that happens eventually. I mean, we kind of we kind of got a little bit of idea of it like with Google Glass, and like I'm pretty sure like there's some weird shit with like when you have your VR glasses, like that'd be kind of weird, the VR and then just like sitting there like on like just seeing like.
Yeah, I think you and I still need to get a VR thing and just split it.
Yeah.
I think we need to dabble into that for this too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but actually, I guess this is kind of interesting to think about too. Just real quick, this movie going into the internet, and then thinking about like Ready Player One.
Oh yeah.
Those two different versions of going into the internet.
Yeah, totally.
And the evolution of what it. Because that one, this one, Johnny is very abstract and strange, and then Ready Player One, granted, you can be a troll, you can be a dragon, you can be a zombie.
There's something. Yeah. It's like they make the internet. It's like the internet is like an actual like city, a world that it's not like
it's venues.
It's not an interface like it is in Johnny Mnemonic. I feel like Johnny Mnemonic, it's very much an interface of like passages that you like push and then enter.
Yeah,
like an old like Doom game or something,
Yeah, and then Ready Player One is
but Ready Player One, it's a world
artificial reality.
Yeah. Augmented reality that you actually interact with.
Yeah.
And like you actually, because you also have like the walking pad and stuff with Ready Player One.
Oh yeah,
and all that stuff. Yeah, which is stuff that does exist today for like full VR experiences.
Oh yeah, Vegas has one.
Oh really?
But it's like zombie outbreak.
That would be so terrifying and fun.
I know. I'm like, when we go to Vegas, we're gonna go.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's all we got. I mean, this is kind of a shorter one this week, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't really. We were excited to watch it, and then we watched it.
Kind of let down. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Too. I'm low energy today. I'll bounce it back for the next episode.
I will say this: if anything from this movie, check out Robert Longo's art, and because he's not only done like like paint. I don't think he's done paint. He does a lot of like technology. Like I don't know how to describe it. He's a modernist artist. He does some film and
like
media, computer art stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got some really interesting stuff that is very like and it's all like fragmented, or it's all organized by like year and timeline and whatnot.
Yeah, I was seeing that on his website.
Yeah, so it's like he's definitely like he's creating art that's a reflection of like the time that he's like his interpretation of that time and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And William Gibson, he's got a lot of good writing stuff. He's very much a science fiction writer. If anything that I took out of this movie, it's definitely. I found two really interesting artists.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
So make sure to follow us on Facebook. We follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify. You can check out our stuff on TommyandJacobsMixtape.com.
Mm-hmm. And join us next week for a side banter. Not sure what we don't have a plan for that one yet.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll probably just kind of We'll just talk about what we've been like watching and stuff.
Yeah, Well, because now like we're gonna be out of the spooky season.
Yeah, we could talk about turkeys.
Sure. Well, that's okay.
Let's
try and find the turkey movies to talk about.
Oh, I got some for you.
You do? Cool.
Oh yeah.
All right, there you go. right on.
All right, guys.
All right, have a great night. We'll talk to you later.
Yep. Hey. Oh wait, do we sign off with "This is Tommy, this is Jacob"? Do we sign off with that? Have we done that? We've done that before, haven't we?
I don't think so. Oh, this is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
Thank you for listening.
Yep.
To Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. We generally do sign up for that. It's Tommy. This is Jacob. Have a good night, and then boobs.
Yeah, something.